Should you put pricing on your site? Should you hide it? That's the question we're going to answer today. I'm Chris from Detailer's Roadmap, and we're going to walk through all the data of what happens when you put pricing on the site, or if you hide it, when you should do one situation versus the other. So I'm going to break it all the way down for you. So what we did is we compiled all this data, and we really putting it starting at prices, whether you should hide pricing, and online booking. And there's scenarios for each. It tends not to be one situation or the other in black and white. There tends to be a little bit of gray area. I'm going to walk you through what we think tends to be the best. And I always like to lead with data. So starting with, if you show pricing, like starting at $17.99 or starting at $249 for a detail or $700 for window tint, the average site, and I have to kind of break it down from the basic level. So if you're a partner with us, stick through this presentation with us. It's going to be valuable for you. So the average site tends to get about 1 to 3% of its traffic. It turns it into leads. Okay, so that means 100 people came through, and between 1 and 3 actually filled out a form or called you that we could track. Most Detailer's Roadmap sites tend to fall between 3 and 9%. It's not a pitch for roadmap sites, but I have to give you kind of a status quo to understand. So what that means is the same 100 people come through, and roadmap sites tend to get between 3 and 9% of converting traffic into a lead. So that's kind of the status quo. So that's starting at prices. And just to give you guys a visual representation, and here's an exact example of, here's a paint protection film page. You can see the pricing starting at $1,500. So the website is saying, hey, don't talk to me unless there's $1,500 that you're willing to spend on the front end. And we can see over here on the left-hand side is you take your site visits and you divide it into engagement, and that gets you right around 9%. This one's actually slightly overperforming. It's around almost closer to 10. But that is how you calculate engagement. You take your site visits, you divide it into engagement, and you understand of how many people traffic to lead. So this is an example of starting at pricing, okay? So here, stay with me here, and you'll walk through this data, and I'll make this as quick as possible for you. So the raw data is if you show starting at pricing, you tend to close on average around 45%. Okay. Now I understand there's going to be some naysayers here. There's going to be some people that speak up and say, hey, I close a lot higher than that, or I close a lot lower than that. I understand. I'm just giving you the kind of the average. Okay. If you close a lot lower, you might be in an area that either your pricing might have something to do with it, or you might be in a high population area as well, too. A lot of factors tend to do it, but this is kind of the average. So if in this example, if you took those 9 people coming through the door, you're going to close between 4 and 5 of them. Okay. And this is, once again, showing pricing on your site. So you have an emotional reaction with this, right? I want more of this now, right? The sun is shining on your face. You're like, I'm closing half these people. I want more of this. So your emotional reaction is, I want to do this more often, okay? Here's what happens when you hide pricing, and this is not a negative or anything. I actually think there's great scenarios for both. So when you hide pricing on your website, an average website gets between 2 to 5% of its traffic into a lead. So same 100 people show up to your website, and I took the high end here and I did 5. 5 of them are going to go into a form, or they're going to fill out a phone call. An average roadmap site typically does between 6 and 19%. This is data that we have. We know our sites do this compared to standard sites. So the volume increases tremendously. And so once again, here's an example of exactly that. So on the left-hand side, notice how it's very close to what I just showed you before, is that the visits are very similar, but the engagement is almost double. Okay. So a lot of people will have an emotional reaction to this and be like, leads, 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 leads. Okay. And so this is an example of not showing any pricing at all. It's just get a quote, call me, or get a quote, and let's talk. And so This can have a lot of ad companies do this because it can have a lot of they're just flushing me with leads. Okay. Here's kind of the raw data of the scenario. When you hide pricing and you have no pricing shown at all on your site, you tend to close on average around 19 to 20%. That's the average. Now, sometimes you'll do 40, sometimes you'll do 20%, sometimes you'll close 100%. So if you had 19 people in the door from a roadmap site, you're going to close about 3 to 4 of them, maybe even a little bit more than that. Your emotional reaction sometimes with this is like, burn this down, don't call me, I don't want to pitch this many things and then not close them. I'm going to walk through that here. This is super important. So once again, if you have a website with us or you don't, doesn't matter. I think this is kind of beneficial for both ends. So kind of here's the recap here is that if your closing percentage, your pricing shown is you're going to tend to be a lot higher. Okay, so the same amount of people are coming through the door, you actually tend to close more people when you pricing shown versus when you hide pricing or you hit it. Okay, so that's the raw data. That what is the amount of customers I actually close still tends to be higher when you're pricing shown. That being said, I don't recommend showing pricing in certain scenarios. And we're going to walk through that because it's not a black and white answer every single time. Quick note here about online booking. Sometimes we see these sites and they want to go strictly into online booking, no form, no phone call. You have to understand is that online booking is fantastic for what we see as many things as great like maintenance or return customers, window tinting, mobile detailing especially, it works really well. You have to understand when you have online booking on your site, your engagement is going to naturally drop because it's another click to somewhere else to book online. So typically your leads drop to under 5%. Yeah, I really want you to ask when you're pushing online booking, would you buy a $1,500 service without talking to somebody? Most people are going to tell you no, especially at $2,500, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and beyond. Most of the time they want to talk to somebody or email or text or call, right? Versus just straight up online booking. And I don't think a lot of people get this enough. They talk to several people, just in a month alone, have online booking forever on their site, and they just don't want to hear that a phone call or form submission is going to help their business. You got to really understand, are you a commodity or are you a luxury service? Commodities are online, Amazon, online booking. Luxury service, tailored quotes is really kind of require a conversation. So what to do, database suggestions. Hey, Chris, you threw this at me. You threw all this data at me. I understand I can close more if I show pricing. But when should I not show pricing? And that's the question we're here kind of to answer. So there's actually technically not a black and white. So if you're established and you have too many tire kickers coming on your previous site, or if you have lead volume that requires more pre-qualification, we suggest show starting at pricing. At the very least, this will start to pre-qualify. It starts to set expectations, starts to pre-qualify your clients. It tends to balance the transparency of your pricing and the flexibility. The cons, and this should say cons, I apologize, we'll have to edit that out. The cons are it may lead to price objections later. It can feel vague sometimes. We, by default, build sites with this first and then turn off pricing if needed, okay? So by default, roadmap partners always get this kind of out of the base level, and then we can always shut it off. So your next question should be, what about the other end? So if you're a new business, if you're slow or going into a slower season, or you are just naturally a low volume population, okay, what is low volume population? Tends to be under 10, 15,000 people in your direct area. If you're working on your sales process, or believe it or not, if you already have a pre-existing sales team, we tend to recommend hide pricing. Um, when you hide pricing, it creates curiosity. It allows a tailored quote. You position the product as a premium service. It's great for awareness. It's great for low volume kind of population and websites. I personally think if you can't sell without showing pricing, you're just going to become commodity if you only show your pricing all the time. You'll just expect people to just buy, buy, buy. Reality is people don't know what paint protection film is. They don't know what ceramic coating is. A lot of times, you guys know this, they just mix it up. Same thing with tint. They don't know it's ceramic or carbon. They just don't understand. And I think if you're working on your sales process and trying to convert people better, I actually think hide pricing is a better scenario. Dang it, 2 pros. We got to adjust this. It's got to say cons. So the cons of this is that it can frustrate customers that they don't see pricing, right? If you were to go to Amazon, you're going to try and buy a new, let's say, computer mouse, and you had to call for a price on that, it would increase friction. It might reduce trust. You might not even want to buy it. That's why hiding pricing tends to work really well for commodity services, potentially lower end tint and detailing. Okay. And we're doing this kind of in September, October, yes, we're going into winter, typically a lower, slower time of the season for most detailed businesses, whether they're PPF, tint, ceramic coating, detailing. We do suggest, especially around this time, high pricing. You're going to naturally have less traffic. You're going to naturally want to talk to people more. It's wintertime. Let's be realistic. You are not going to have the same volume that you did in April, May, June that you are going to be in September, October, November. Just remember, winter is a real thing. So let's talk about online booking. Online booking is perfect for an accessory to be convenient. It's definitely the way of the future. In my personal opinion, at least in our lifetime, it will never replace anything high-end in our lifetime without a large awareness of the business. So if you have been established for 20 years, everybody knows you. You are the go-to answer for paint protection film, window tint, ceramic coating. There's no question in their mind that your brand, that's keyword, brand, is tied to the quality of service they want and they're willing to pay. Online booking is that perfect scenario. I don't know if many people are in that. I would say probably less than 5% there. The pros here, it's convenient. I think it's really great to have it on a site, especially if you quoted somebody and you want them just to book online when they are done schedule, after their day. It reduces some back and forth. It's great for smaller services. The cons are it's not great for high ticket services. I'm not going to talk about that further, but it limits personal touch. That's a really key thing, and risk of misbooked services. Online booking, yes, you should use it, but stop thinking you need to see every vehicle, build a connection, and build I would typically, if I was using online booking, I would build a base correction with every package or an asterisk and say, this is for reserving your spot. Amazon became this way due to convenience. You should kind of do the same with online booking. We see it really work best with return customers. So here's kind of some quick takeaways to be successful for partners. At least if you have a roadmap site, it's going to engage really well. High pricing in the wintertime. If you are worried about the winter, if you are, act surprised every October, high pricing in the winter. Resolve your issue. Also, you should track your close percentage over 30 days. So if you remember I showed you those 50 leads compared to the 100 leads, you should really write those down. Did I close? Did I close? You'll actually track those close percentages and you'll find that there's going to be a much difference kind of between the two of hiding pricing and showing pricing. Use the guide for the type of business stage you're in, right? That hide and show. Are you really fully aware to everybody that is coming in? Do you have a sales team pre-existing? Do you have a great sales process? If you have a great sales process, high pricing. Simple as that. If you have a team that can answer the phone every single time, high pricing. I can tell you it's been very hard to get a hold of anyone to paint some stuff at our house. As an example, the first guy that is going to pick up the phone is probably going to win the business. You'd be surprised how accurate that is today for a lot of people. And last but not least, invest in a sales process if you never have had before. Um, if you are giving away pricing in the first 90 seconds of a conversation with a client, you can just go ahead and shut off the phone. I know that you think that's pre-qualification, but you should be asking people, what's your goals, why, where you're from, what neighborhood you're in, is this your first car? You should be asking them questions. You're giving them pricing within 90 seconds. You've got kind of a sales process problem. You're not trying to extend the conversation as much as you might think. So that's kind of my quick takeaways for partners. If you are not a current partner, or if you want to have a conversation with us, you can go to detailersroadmap.com. That's my mini little pitch here. And that is kind of who we are. So hopefully this helped out. Remember, we're going into off season, kind of get some seasonality in your business. My recommendation, kind of walking into October, is hiding pricing. Sometimes people even put interior detailing back on sites, stuff like that. And I would start to invoke conversations. Come springtime, people tend to do the opposite. They flip the other way, and then they will actually hide price or show pricing and pre-qualify because they want to just book as many jobs and get off the phone. It just depends on where you are in stage business. So hopefully that helps. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.